And we are back. Call of Duty's made some insane tweeting these past couple of days regarding to season 2 and their amazing update that's coming out on paper, but we'll see if that all comes true. But today's video, we are doing a reaction to TCaptain here. Shout out to this guy for making this great video. I will put his link in the description if you guys want to check out his stuff. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for some insane changes because Warzone is honestly super stale, and looking forward to the future. And it doesn't make any changes, we could see the downfall of Warzone in season 3, possibly season 2, even before Verdansk even drops. But I mean, we'll see. Like I said, actions speak louder than words. I'm thinking a lot of people can agree with that statement. Like, Call of Duty is an all-time low at this point. It's very ridiculous, especially how the game is just being treated right now. And then I know the holidays, and they deserve a holiday break for sure, but I think the game's been launched way too early because obviously, clearly it wasn't ready because of all the bugs that we're dealing with right now. But let's just go ahead and get on into it. So let's just go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. I'm TCaptain. Call of Duty just released an official blog post about what is coming in Season 2 and a community update. And everything they're saying sounds extremely promising, and it does give me hope that Warzone might actually be saved if all this comes true. The problem is, though, actions speak louder than words. And there's been many times in the past that they've said they're going to fix certain issues, but instead they half fix them or they introduce new problems when fixing other ones.
Every year.
As a whole, seems to be doing okay. The total player counts from the week of December 28th to January 4th are actually quite high still. COD being the #2 most played game on PlayStation, #1 on Xbox, but #9 on Steam. Although at least half of the PC player base plays on Battle.net and not just Steam. However, Call of Duty HQ includes Call of Duties from Black Ops 6 all the way back to Modern Warfare 19, including multiplayer, zombies, DMZ, and Warzone. So this is slightly
that is insane, bro.
And it does not give us a great insight of what modes and games they're actually playing. Now, as a COD creator, this does seem to be probably the lowest interest I've seen in Warzone specifically, at least since shortly after the launch of Warzone 2, because that was just as bad, if not worse, than what it is now in terms of the bugs and issues with the game. So if you guys,
I'll be real. This may sound like a hot take. I didn't really mind Warzone 2. Yeah, the gun balancing sucked in that game. Al-Mazrah was amazing. The movement wasn't everyone's favorite, but I really didn't mind it. I'd say Warzone 2 was very hated by the community, but I'm sure there's a community out there that actually liked Warzone 2. Call me a bot all you like. I think Warzone 2 was pretty decent. It wasn't the greatest Warzone. Do not get me wrong about that, but I would rather play that Warzone 2 over this Warzone, if that makes any sense. I'd rather play that, you know?
If you want to read this blog yourself, it's on the official Call of Duty website, but basically what they're saying here is the things that they are looking to address the most are going to be the cheating issue, the ability to disable cross play on consoles for ranked. So
that's
if
a
you're on
dub.
PlayStation or Xbox, you'll be able to play ranked play with console only, and I believe that would be PlayStation only and Xbox only.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be PlayStation and Xbox being able to play together, as far as I understand. Server issues in terms of connection, lagging, that kind of stuff. Quality of life updates, and then bug fixes. So first, starting with the anti-cheat, aka Ricochet here. So they are addressing
the biggest problem,
acknowledging, saying that the cheating issue is really, really bad right now. Although they're saying that they have new things that are currently live and that they've recently banned over 136,000 ranked play accounts since that mode has launched. However, the problem is that these cheaters and whatnot are able to very easily just get a new account and jump right back in basically instantly. Because if we scroll down a little bit here, they talk about how they are avoiding doing IP bans. And the reason for that is that they're saying that, for example, a college campus or internet cafe, who, if one person there who has that IP address were to use cheats, if they ban that IP, anyone in that college campus or internet cafe would then not be able to play. Now, personally, I understand that logic, but with how bad the cheating is, to me, I would say that's probably worth it, because probably less people
100% worth it
by banning that entire IP at a internet cafe or something, versus just making it so easy for these cheating accounts to just make a new one over and over again. If we scroll back up here, they also mention that spam reporting people doesn't do anything, basically.
Okay, I wanted to go back to that internet cafe thing. I think that is totally worth it, because that'll make a lot of people stop downloading so many cheats. Like once they get banned, you know, a cheater is gonna just make another account and they're instantly back into the game. I think that would be worth it, especially for that area, for the internet cafe. Just ban that entire IP so people can't use, you know, they can't use their cheats on that IP, if that makes any sense. So I wouldn't see a big deal with that one. I think that'll help a lot of the cheating issues, but at the same time, you know, there's always ways around it. You know, cheaters will always find a way to get past that, but I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but it's ridiculous, bro.
So the shadow ban system is very, very bad in Call of Duty.
Terrible.
And people have been believing that if you just report someone like 10, 20, 30 times, that the anti-cheat is taking that into account and that it will eventually lead to them being shadow banned. They are saying, no, absolutely, that does not matter. And part of that is because one of the illegal cheat tools that people are using is where they can basically spam report an account like hundreds and thousands of times. And there have been video clips of these people doing this, and it clearly gets that person shadow banned. So I don't know if I believe this, but I think that's cap. Clearly say that that does not matter. Another new thing coming,
that's cap,
I think should be nice, is that when a cheater is banned, our system will detect other accounts it has regularly partied up with and raise flags for investigation. So basically, if you are playing with other cheaters, your account is going to get flagged and looked at more intently. Now, they announced
that's a W
that there are going to be,
I heard about that one,
coming to the anti-cheat in season 2, which is January 28th, as well as more coming into season 3. So apparently there are major kernel level driver updates, which kernel level just means like how deep the anti-cheat goes. Kernel level being technically the deepest an anti-cheat can go because it works in like your computer's background. I'm not an expert on this stuff, so I'm saying something wrong, but there are improvements to driver security, reinforced encryption process, blah, blah, blah. The problem is we've heard this so many times and nothing's really
3 years. We heard that same
we'll just simply
statement.
Have to see. And then in season 3, there is new tech coming to authenticate legit players and target cheaters. And they're saying they're not going to give more details about this because they don't want to tip off the cheaters, basically. An interesting thing that happened on X or Twitter was Modern Warzone, pretty big Warzone account, not officially related to Activision or anything. They tweeted basically a screenshot of everything that we were just reading right there. And then GamerDoc, who I believe he is the head anti-cheat dev for Riot. So Riot is they make huge games like Valorant, League of Legends, and they
hire this guy.
A very good job of not having major issues with cheaters in their game. And basically he's saying this seems like a giant word salad to create illusion of progress. He's basically saying this doesn't mean anything. And he's saying that the way that he does it and what Call of Duty should do regarding this is that they should go purchase the cheats themselves and then try to use that to kind of like reverse engineer this and figure out how the cheats work and how to identify them and shut them down. So
1000%. Whoever this GamerDoc guy is, they should definitely hire this guy for Call of Duty. I mean, he is he's an anti-cheat developer for, you know, the games this guy just mentioned. And I would 100% agree with that. They should definitely purchase the cheats themselves so they can work around it. What this guy literally what I just said is what he just said. It's insane. And I don't know. I don't think COD will be able to do that, but I'm sure at the same time they probably would do that. But I'm not an expert. I'm not really sure what goes behind those scenes, but that'd be amazing if they can buy the cheats themselves and then reverse it on, you know, against cheaters. You know, that'd be cool.
I would hope they're trying to do that as is.
Same.
But he says here, banning 136 accounts is meaningless if individuals can simply spoof their way back in one click, which again, if they're not IP banning people, what's the point? Because these people can just easily make a new account. They're back in. They're definitely evading hardware banning. I know they try to hardware ban where they isolate your computer and says this computer cannot play Call of Duty, but there are plenty of ways around that with technology like spoofers and whatnot. Moving on from the anti-cheat to server stability, packet loss, and lobby crashing here. So they've said they've already identified several issues with some of the rubber banding, packet loss issues and whatnot, and made addresses that should make this better. They're also trying to target specifically people, especially in ranked play, cheaters that are using to crash the lobby.
That's so annoying, bro.
They're saying they've identified some things here and that it should be getting better, but again, we've heard this many times, so we're just gonna have to see. Next, we have a quick
I dealt with that 8 times in one day
on voice moderation. So you guys remember back in 2023, they added this in-game voice chat moderation where they listen to what you're saying. And if you say some off the wall stuff, you can get your account can get like banned or voice chat banned. Now the problem is people will like get banned for literally saying nothing. Like I got voice chat banned and I never used my in-game voice chat. I always talk in Discord when I play. It just doesn't make sense. There's no rhyme and reason to it. And they say players should have the freedom to trash talk, and we're constantly working with our teams to make sure blah, 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 that it doesn't get any deeper. But it's just not very accurate. So hopefully they're going to get better at that, because you should be able to trash talk. But I mean, I think it's a good thing they're trying to moderate where people can't say completely outlandish, like horrendous stuff.
N-word, sexist, yeah, all that.
To be like, yo, you suck, I just shit on you. All right, including Black Ops 6 updates. Now, this is more for Black Ops 6 multiplayer, but some of these should transition into Warzone as well. So they are adding a challenge tracker for our camos and whatnot and other challenges. So those will be very nice. So in-game, you'll be able to look and be like, okay, I need 6 more headshots or whatever that might be for that challenge. This was a feature we had in MW3 and then we lost it in BO6, so that is coming back.
That's a good, that's a dub.
Presets for multiplayer and zombies, and then improved collision with teammates and just getting around the map with doorways and stuff like that. For multiplayer specifically, they have a big weapon balance pass coming. I would hope this is coming to Warzone as well. Bullet penetration updates, which they said is coming to Warzone as well.
Oh my God.
Bang and whatnot. Further reduced weapon motion while jumping, sliding, and diving with the dexterity perk equipped, which we will talk more about here related to Warzone shortly. Got a few other small changes like kill confirm stuff, some other small
some decent changes to multiplayer,
and some bug fixes. One of the big ones being Ninja would like reset and do weird stuff and not work properly, so that is apparently getting fixed. And then ranked,
I never noticed that.
BO6 multiplayer here. Again, they're talking about the ability to disable crossplay for ranked, which should also be coming in for Warzone. They're also adding a vote to forfeit feature where if you're just getting like steamrolled or one of your players like disconnects, you can just vote to forfeit and the match early. They're trying to add the ability to rejoin ranked play matches if you get disconnected, which I believe is technically live in Warzone already, but it doesn't always work that well. And then they are adding camos for if you get to gold rank or higher,
that's
along
good.
with some
that's
other
good.
Rewards. Zombies, there is a big separate blog post about zombies already. There is a new map called the Tomb coming, which is going to be really big, and there's just a lot of kind of, honestly, zombies is getting a lot of cool content. So
yeah, it is
time to be a Call of Duty player. All right, now for the Warzone stuff. So they are basically saying here that we are prioritizing focusing on gameplay tuning, adding more quality of life, and addressing bugs. And what that,
I don't know what to say, but that's good, because I don't know if anyone's noticed this, especially if you guys who stream or whatever, or you just play the game regularly every day and you don't stream, that the store was getting updated every single week, maybe even twice a week. But the bundles have been insane, and they've been more focused on the bundles than the content, the game itself, which I understand things are scheduled, but when you just like constantly just blow up the store and not worry about the game, that's a huge problem. And I know there's going to be a fan base in there that still buys bundles, whether they know about the bag stuff or not, but they know that they're going to focus more on the players who don't really play as much, which is the reason why the game's not getting updated properly. The game's not getting fixed, but that's a good sign that they're focusing more on the game more than the content in the bundles. That's good.
that means is that new content originally planned for Season 2 has been shifted to create bandwidth to address foundational issues, aka we're not going to get much new content at all in Season 2, or at least maybe not towards the end of Season 2. Instead, they're focusing their efforts on just fixing the game, which I agree is the right decision. The game has had a lot of problems and issues, so I'd rather just like the base functionality work very well. Yep. But it is unfortunate that we're going to be playing the exact same thing. We're not going to be getting new features like map updates, maybe not as many new guns and new equipment, things like that. Then they go on. It is a shame how basically Warzone is a ever evolving game, and so that when they make these changes, some people in the player base will love these changes and other people will hate them. And they're trying to basically find what that sweet spot is for kind of getting the most amount of people in the game to be happy. So with that in mind here's are some of the changes that are confirmed. Reload speeds are getting increased, or they're going to be faster to reload from 5 to 20%. And in Black Ops 6, generally the reload speeds have been slower on average to previous, like MW3. They are reducing the penalty when jumping. So if you're in a sprint and you jump, you're only going to get basically a 25% increase in the speed of that. And then same with just regular jumping. So what this means is when you jump and aim your gun, you traditionally get a big penalty in how slow it is to aim down sight. Now it's going to be a little bit faster. So they're saying is they're trying to find a middle ground where you can jump shot and it's an effective strategy, but not making it the meta movement strategy where like everybody has to jump and shoot. So this should be a good thing,
that's a
because
good
right now,
balance.
Jump shooting is like not very powerful. It's a very weak thing, if anything. Whereas now it's going to be like a good option to do. They're also adjusting bullet penetration.
That's gonna.
So basically, this is like when
That's
you wall
helping
bang
the
things
sweats
and
more than
making it where
casuals.
some like thick walls, like you can wall bang, but then other like thin objects you can't. So they're going to try to address some of that. Weapon swap speeds are being increased or sped up by 10%. So if you switch from like your AR to your SMG or sniper to SMG, that's going to be faster, which is great because again, the weapon swap speeds are slower in this game compared to other games. And they're basically replicating the effect that Quick Grip was in Modern Warfare 3. So in MW3, we had a bunch of default perks, and some of those was like faster reload, faster mantling, faster weapon swap speeds. And they're basically adjusting things back to be more similar to how MW3 was in those aspects, which I think is a great overall move that basically everyone should enjoy. They're also removing
That's good. That's a good thing.
Guns and low rarity pistols from ground loot.
Oh my goodness, this was very annoying.
You'll fly back in and you don't realize that you have like a Goblin MK2, which is a semi-auto, or you have like a
AEK
full auto pistol versus a semi-auto, and you just never really know what gun you have, and you lose gunfights because you have to kind of check if you have an auto gun or not. All right.
So that right there, I had countless teammates and myself included have also dealt with that. The ground loot guns suck in this game, 100%. They suck, and sometimes you can't even tell if you pick up an AEK or an AK. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell which is which because the AEK without attachments, the iron sight looks like an AK, right? And it's annoying, but I'm glad they made that change and they're going to be removing the burst and semi-automatic rifles off the ground loot guns. That's a W. That's a dub.
All right, movement. This one right here, this is a very interesting one, and we're gonna have to see what exactly this means. They are increasing the jump speed, so I guess you can jump faster, but also the successive jump height. What I think that means is it's kind of bunny hopping, is what it sounds like to me. It might not be full-blown bunny hopping, but I think they're saying when you jump and then you jump again, that second jump, currently when you jump second, like if you try to chain a bunny hop, that second jump is like a dud. You get like nowhere. Whereas now they're saying that second jump is going to be faster and you're going to jump farther or higher. Very interesting.
I think that's still bunny hopping.
The speed of cutting your parachute and then being able to get your weapon up and use. So this was a huge issue and huge pain in the butt in Black Ops 6. When you land and you want to pull your gun out to start shooting someone, there is this massive delay where it's like you're taking an hour and a half, it feels like, to like put your parachute out, your guy has to get all situated, and then he pulls his gun up. And so like you're like holding aim and you're trying to shoot someone who's right in front of you, and you literally cannot do that for like a full second. Audio
I've noticed that.
Been a big issue in Black Ops 6. It's gotten a little bit better in one of the recent updates, but it's far from perfect. They are reducing the reverb. Reverb is kind of like echo to improve directionality of movement. So they've added a lot of these like realistic effects where things echo and make these weird, more realistic noises, but they're trying to get rid of that and just be like, if there is audio over this way, you hear audio over that way instead of it like bouncing off walls and stuff, which I think for an FPS game, that's what we need. But
yeah, the parachutes were very annoying because sometimes you can't even tell where the parachutes are even coming from. You know what I mean? Like you can have a parachute that's like meters or like hundreds of meters away and you don't even know where that person landed. So thankfully I'm glad, like, because sometimes when you're running towards like vehicles and stuff, you hear echoes of your own footsteps. So very annoying feature. So I'm glad they're looking at that.
Again, we've heard this so many times where they're like, we made audio better, and then we're like, yeah, I can't tell anything. So we will just have to see how meaningful of a change this actually is. So they are changing the way that Combat Scout works. So instead of getting a live ping when you shoot someone with Combat Scout just live pings whenever you shoot someone. Instead, now you're going to get an outline of that enemy so you can very clearly see them, but it will not be visible through walls. So like the OG Combat Scout back in Warzone 1 was literally wall hacks when you shot people. It was broken. So I think this is going to be a good kind of a rework of Combat Scout, making it more valuable but not broken. They are adding new default perks. So again, we're kind of going back to how MW3 was. So dexterity is now going to be a default perk for everyone, but just the weapon component. So what that means is you will have basically less of that aim jerking and sway when you're running, jumping, all that stuff. So it's going to make your gun smoother. And they're saying they also increase that effectiveness, meaning just your gun is going to be smoother when you're doing movement. Your sights are not going to like bob around like crazy when you're trying to aim your gun. And then again, as I already mentioned, they're basically adding back the quick grip gloves, which is the faster weapon swapping, and then the fast reload because of the adjustment. So essentially they're adding back default perks. And then they are adding back Mountaineer, hallelujah, which will be a perk 1, which is replacing dexterity. So Mountaineer was from MW3. This allowed you to jump off much higher heights without taking fall damage. However, they did say that they reduced this, and it's not going to be quite the powerhouse that it was in MW3. So as long as it's, I think, like a good buff from what we have now, it'll be very nice. But I will kind of agree Mountaineer was kind of broken in MW3 because you could jump off like insane heights and not take fall damage. And then they're also making Veteran, which is one of those newer perks, which is like it reduces like explosions and stuff. They're making it so gas grenades will not damage you nearly as much because gas grenades have been very strong. Equipment and
very annoying.
Mission satchels now
annoying.
They would give you an extra 2 items. Now they're only going to give you an extra 1 item. So I think this is good. That way people don't have like 4 claymores and stuff like that. They're also making it so you can only have up to 2 tacticals and lethals out at a time. So you can't put 3 claymores or bomb traps down. You can only have 2 down at a time. They are nerfing gas grenades, making the radius, duration, and movement penalties smaller. That way, because they've just been super strong, especially in ranked. Spy cameras are getting nerfed.
Especially those sweaty nerds using those things, man.
Like a wall hack on them, and you can see them through walls. That effect will no longer go through walls. It will just highlight people if they're out in the open. And then advanced UAVs are getting a big buff. This is always a complaint I've had of them. When you pop 3 UAVs, you get an advanced UAV where you can see directionally what players are looking, but now it will also show the elevation up or down. Previously, if you popped an advanced UAV, you couldn't tell if they were above or below you vertically. Now
we've been asking for that for like 2 years, I think.
Body shield mechanic. So they're making it so, one, when you body shield people, you won't be able to see their enemy teammates through walls. So getting rid of that like kind of wall hack perk. They're also making it where you can't release people. Once you have them in a body shield, you either just keep body shielding them until they die, or you have to execute them. And then when people buy back from buy stations, you know,
that does
that flare. Yeah. So if you're like, hey, buy back over there, you can actually ping the flare so your teammates can see it, which is nice. And then some stack tracker changes here. All right, bug fixes here. So they're basically saying that, you know, they have a lot of bug fixes they're working on there. They try to update people on X and on Trello, but some of the big changes coming here. Visibility of dark issues on Rebirth Island. This is huge. The lighting on Rebirth, especially in areas like Control Center or Prison, has been horrible, where like people could go in a corner and you just straight up can't see them, especially if they are a like very dark operator. Addressing the issue where if you try to revive people, it would stand you up. So this was really annoying if you're trying to like prone behind cover, revive your teammate. It would force stand you up, and then you would, you know, get shot instead of being behind cover.
That's the thing I wanted to talk about, especially like in pubs, because I don't play Resurgence, but in pubs, when you're like sitting somewhere, like your teammate's down and you're trying to like get into cover to revive them, it doesn't even like allow you to like prone and res them. You have to stand up where your character is shown while you're being shot, and it's one of the most annoying bugs in the game, and that's been bothering me since the update. And I don't know, man, but thank goodness I was one of them. And the lighting in the game is also terrible. Playing Area 99 and Big Map, lighting everywhere is terrible, not just Rebirth Island.
Cover. Fix some areas where people could get out of the map, and then also, thank goodness, they're finally fixing people, your parachute deploying when you jump off of ladder.
Hallelujah.
Super annoying bug that would get you killed constantly. Fix a few looting things here. Addressed weapons becoming inaccessible near interactable areas. I think this just means that like if you had guns like around a buy station or a door, it wouldn't let you loot what you wanted. So I think they're saying they're fixing that. And then weapons would
just bring back floating loot
station where you couldn't get them, fixing that as well. And then there was another big issue where like your custom guns, gold guns, they would appear as just gray common ground loot, and you wouldn't be able to tell which one was your custom gun if you dropped it. Perks and contracts here, there was a bug with Ghost that it would basically like you could have Ghost equipped even though you didn't have it equipped. Cold-blooded wasn't properly counting against tracker. Quick fix wasn't working properly when you plate, so it's supposed to be when you start plating your health regens. That wasn't working all the time. There was a bug with Survivor where you couldn't revive people, and then they're also fixing an issue with Most Wanted. And then ranked play here, basically the same stuff we already talked about in multiplayer up above. They're going to have cross-play options for console players, and then they're going to be making some adjustments to SR deployment, all that kind of stuff. Looking ahead, they say we have ambitious plans and plenty of new content coming to Call of Duty in 2025. So basically, I think what they're saying is they're putting all of that content kind of on the back burner a little bit, and they're just focusing this season on just fixing the game, which I agree is the right move. It's unfortunate that it had to come to this, though. It should have been, the game should have been in a decent state as is, and we'd be getting content as we go. But most likely that new content is going to be coming more in season 3, which is heavily rumored. That's when Verdansk is coming. So that'll be very exciting. Hopefully the game is in a great place by then, so that when Verdansk comes and a lot of new content comes, that people can kind of really get back in the game, enjoy it, and hopefully get that kind of similar feeling to that nostalgic Warzone 1 back in like 2020. But this is an awesome video, by the way, by TCaptain. I will put his channel in the description, and I'll also put this blog post from Call of Duty themselves in the description below. And this all sounds amazing on paper. It really does. It looks like the game will be back the way it should be. Not perfectly, but Warzone, it'll probably bring back some like Warzone 3 nostalgia, because, you know, the game was pretty good during Warzone 3's life cycle. And hopefully we'll see like some major changes to the update with the anti-cheat, which that one has me more skeptical more than anything, and the bugs. But all this sounds amazing on the paper, but we got to see action, because, you know, they like to talk that talk, but are they about it though when the update comes in? But the best way we can do is just find out. But great video. Console only lobbies and ranked. Hopefully they'll bring this back for pubs, but I doubt that one, because that will hurt the PC player base. But I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for this reaction. It was great. Shout out to TCaptain for this, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Cross fingers for season 2 being a great update, because this one here, season 1 was a disaster, and if we don't see these changes moving forward, Warzone as a whole, it's done.